You know, for generations, the funeral service industry has been this pillar of tradition, right? But we live in a world where everything happens online. We communicate, we shop, we connect. So what happens when we start to grieve online too? How does such a personal, time-honored profession even begin to adapt? Okay, let's dive right into this transformation. At the absolute core of it all, you've got these three unshakable values: compassion, dignity, and trust. I mean, these are the promises that are made to families during what is, for sure, one of the most difficult times of their lives. And that part, that hasn't changed for centuries.
And that is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? What happens when a family that's used to instant everything, instant information, digital connection for every other part of their lives, suddenly has to navigate the world of funeral arrangements? Well, what you get is a fundamental shift in what people expect.
So first, let's really look at this problem from the family's point of view. The way we come together to mourn and to celebrate a life is changing, simply because the tools we use to organize our entire lives have completely changed.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Families today, they expect to find service details on their phones, like right now. They're trying to coordinate with relatives who are scattered all over the globe, and they really want to create a digital space, a place to share memories and find support that goes way beyond just the physical service.
Now flip the coin. Imagine you're the funeral home. You're often a small, incredibly dedicated team, trying to meet all these new digital demands on top of all the other emotional and logistical work you're doing. It can be absolutely overwhelming. It is a huge, huge operational challenge.
Okay, so this is where technology, when it's designed with real care, can step in and bridge that gap. We're starting to see this new category of tools emerge that are designed to help funeral homes serve today's families without losing that essential human touch. To see how this actually works in the real world, let's look at one example. It's a platform called Evntwall, and it's built specifically to help funeral directors bring their operations and their communication into the modern age, all while keeping those core values, that warmth and care, right at the forefront. So what's actually in a platform like this? How does it really work? All right, let's pop the hood and take a closer look at the tools it provides for both the families and the funeral home staff. First up, there's this concept they call an e-site. Now, this isn't meant to replace the funeral home's main website. A better way to think about it is like a dedicated dynamic event page, almost like a social media page for the funeral home. It's mobile first, and it's super simple for any staff member to update in an instant. No web developer needed. And then the platform really helps streamline the day-to-day operations. You've got an employee portal that keeps the entire team, full-time, part-time, even on-call staff, totally in sync. And then there's a Concierge Portal, which helps manage the experience for everyone who's visiting. You know, from the clergy needing directions to florists trying to make a delivery, it's all about cutting down on confusion and miscommunication. But, you know, maybe the biggest shift of all is what happens to the obituary itself. For forever, it's just been a static block of text in a newspaper or online. This kind of technology completely transforms it into a living, breathing, interactive memorial for the entire community. So what does that actually mean? Well, it means one dedicated page with everything in one place. You get service info with maps and RSVPs, direct links to a live stream, a digital message board where people can share condolences, and galleries where anyone can upload photos and videos. It can even handle donations directly for the family and provide crystal clear instructions for flower deliveries. And here's something that's really key from a business standpoint. Unlike those generic memorial websites where the funeral home's brand just gets lost in the background, this approach keeps their identity front and center. Their name, their logo, it's on every single page, every email, and every social media share. It constantly reinforces their connection to that community. And that right there leads to this fascinating outcome. The platform stops being just a service tool and becomes this quiet but incredibly powerful marketing engine that's built on nothing but genuine connection. Just look at these numbers. On average, a single one of these memorial pages gets almost 1,800 views. Now think about that. That is not just the immediate family. That is an entire community of friends, coworkers, and neighbors all coming together to pay their respects. And they're not just looking, they're actively participating. An average of 58 condolence messages are left on each memorial. That's a real measure of emotional engagement. It literally transforms the page into a hub of communal support. Now here's where it gets really interesting for the business. Each one of these memorials captures an average of 24 new subscribers. These are people from the local area who've just had a direct, positive experience with the funeral home's brand and have willingly opted in to stay connected. So what this really proves is that this isn't traditional advertising, shouting for attention. It's connection. At a moment of real emotional importance, people are associating the funeral home's name not with some sales pitch, but with comfort, with care, and with clarity.
And of course, when you modernize your services, you also open up new revenue opportunities. Things like offering premium digital memorials as an upsell, or integrated flower orders or live streaming services. These can all be offered as really valuable add-ons that help the business thrive while it's better serving families.
So when you pull all of these different threads together, you start to see the bigger picture of what the future of funeral services could really look like. And what it points toward is, well, it's a win-win scenario.
You can see this clear dual benefit here. For the families, it means less confusion and less stress during an unbelievably difficult time. And for the funeral homes, it means way less admin work, much stronger relationships in their community, and a modern service offering that actually meets the needs of today's world.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought-provoking question. In a world that is always changing, is this how a deeply traditional industry can evolve? Not by abandoning its values, but by finding new tools to express them with even more grace and compassion than ever before.